Mudasir Khan, how to convince youngsters to indulge in Shakespearean literature? It's a good question for today, of all days, and it's one that I know that both of you are very closely involved in. So Jenny, let's start with you. How can we develop enthusiasm and excitement and a love of Shakespeare, or open up Shakespeare to younger students?
I've got some recent experience to share about this, because I went into a fairly new class. I've just started teaching recently, and with younger students, kind of late teens, and I said, okay, let's talk about what you want to learn. And one of the questions was, you have to tell me something you definitely don't want to do in class. And they didn't have any ideas. Anything you want, they said. So then I said, okay, that's fine. Well, today we're going to be learning about Shakespeare. And they all said, oh, we don't want to do Shakespeare. They tried to add it quickly to their list of things they didn't want to do. But it was too late. So we went on and we had a lesson on Shakespeare. And the way I started it was I just really got them to write down everything they already knew about Shakespeare. And it was amazing to see that they knew so much more than they thought they did. And then we looked at one of the videos, the elementary videos, the animations of Romeo and Juliet, and they really enjoyed it. They realized they already knew the story. And from then on, we did lots of discussion, talked about the characters, talked about modern day situations, problems with parents. So I think the key thing is relating it to young students' lives. Simple storytelling methods, some of the brilliant resources that are available on websites like Learn English Kids, Learn English Teens, to ease them into the subject and then take it from there. But yeah, certainly don't be put off by the fact that they are saying, well, we don't want to learn Shakespeare, because it's maybe just their associations or previous bad experiences. About the approach, I think.
Okay, I'm going to risk turning Lisa's sound back on now in the hope that the drilling has stopped. And it has.
Yeah. It's
Lisa.
just hammering now.
Hammering we can handle, that's no problem.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I agree with Jenny. It's very much about how you approach it, and the way we tend to do it with primary school children, because we do a lot of work with them here in Stratford as well, and also throughout the UK and internationally. We approach Shakespeare through the stories. So, we have a look at A Midsummer Night's Dream, we have a look at the different characters, we do Romeo and Juliet with them and really try and find out why these families are fighting each other, and, how this relationship between Romeo and Juliet could create peace between the families. So it's very much focusing on the characters, what happens to them, what is the kind of emotional core to these plays. And a lot of young children are actually really interested in it because the stories are good, right? There's nothing wrong with them. It's just the language that's sometimes a bit challenging, obviously. But then on the other hand, Shakespeare is very good at, being playful with language, being inventive. And, like you do this week with this lovely step in the Hamlet week where you're making up your own words. That's the kind of sense we are trying to get across to language learners as well as native speakers. Language is there for you to play around with. Yes, obviously, while you're learning, you're trying to do it right. You're trying to learn what are the rules, what are the regulations, how do I speak proper English? But you can also have a bit of fun with it and try and come up with new words. I mean, English has a couple of what we call lexical gaps, words that should be there but aren't. So can you fill these gaps? Can you make up your own words? Because that's basically what Shakespeare did as well in his plays. So let's be Shakespeare. Let's do that ourselves. Why not?
Okay, and as usual, we'll share lots of links in the comments and on the page under this step when we're finished. We have lots of stuff for that on our Learn English Kids page, on our Learn English Teens page. We have some blogs from Jenny that can help you with that, and some lesson plans from our Teaching English page, and lots of stuff to help you with that. I think it's time for us to actually finish now. So I think we've run out of time for any more questions at the moment. So let's, as I said at the beginning, this is a day, lots of things today. There's also World Book Day. Are either of you reading anything particularly interesting at the moment that you would recommend?
Well, I'm reading The Tempest, rereading The Tempest, I should say, to get me ready for next week.
Getting ready for next week.
I just finished a book by Harry Mulisch, The Discovery of Heaven, which is a Dutch novel from the 1990s, if I remember correctly. So yeah, it's a novel of ideas, I think it's been described. So there's not much plot happening. I think that's that's what it translates to, but very interesting.
Well, over the rest of the day, we'll be sharing lots more stuff for Shakespeare, as well as for English Language Day and for World Book Day. So keep looking at the page for that. And just before we go, any last words, Lisa?
Well, I'm always really impressed to see that, language learners feel they can tackle Hamlet, because, it is such a famous play and a lot of people are saying, oh my goodness, this is so complex. But it's just great to see how many people say, yeah, so let's give it a try. Let's find out what this is all about. And let's try and see how I personally relate to this play or not. So keep going. This is the way to go.
Yeah. No, I have to agree that whenever we post the stuff on Facebook, as well as, of course, on the course itself, it's really very, very inspiring how many people say, well, I wasn't really sure about this before, but I will give it a go and I'll give it a try and I'm going to read it, or I'll try and read it in my own language. I've never read it. But just, the fact that they're, enthused and excited by it is great and very positive. Jenny, last words?
Yeah, just that there's several more days to go of Hamlet, so I'm just looking forward to reading so many more discussions about aspects of the play. So do keep contributing and replying to everybody's comments, everyone. It's been great so far.
Yeah, we're early this week at the start of the week because we wanted to hit today as a celebration. But yes, as Jenny says, you've still got a whole week left ahead of you to join in. So we'll see you back in the course. And that's us for just now. Thank you for all your great questions, and we'll see you for our next Facebook Live. So bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.